The world's newest subway line just opened. Is it already a failure? Let's check out Line 6 Orange from São Paulo's metro system. This new line just opened about a month ago and I went in to check it out. We enter from Sask Pompeia station that looks really modern. You can see the bright orange signs that make you think like you're going to a prison or something. Entry is currently free as the line is in a curious state of testing, which means they are doing everything to make sure people don't actually ride it for transit. The line currently features only one transfer station with the train system, but it's super inconvenient at the moment, so nobody's using it. The rolling stock consists of Alstom's 600 series Metropolis based design, in this somewhat ugly orange color scheme. Since the line is a private-public partnership, you can see the branding of Linha Uni all around, which consists of the orange and blue color scheme. Kinda reminds me of the old South African flag, but let's ignore that. Currently, the platform screen doors are not working, so make sure you don't fall over the tracks. What bugs me are the interior seats. Priority seating is highlighted by the blue seats, which are a different tone of blue from the rest of the subway system. But the worst are these super bright orange seats. I thought we learned from not having bright colors like this for seating, as it makes passengers more angry. As New York learned, right? At least line 4 yellow has better seats. This one feels like a step back, but it's not a deal breaker. And just one caveat, why am I doing this video in English if Portuguese is my native tongue? Well, it's because here on Capybara Trains, I like covering railroad systems from all around the world, and English is just the lingua franca of our time, so it's more consistent that all my videos are in English, before my Brazilian friends start asking. The cool thing is that the train had that specific smell new rolling stock have. It's unfortunate that smell can't be distributed via YouTube. The trains are designed to be driverless. As we are here during the testing phase, drivers are currently present, and since there aren't many people, the few passengers that are traveling on the route stayed here watching the driver conducting the train, which is really cool. Also, the controls are from Siemens apparently, so I would love to someone to explain to me that in the comments. Let's talk about the route, or the lack thereof, at the moment. In its current phase, the line is going from Perdizes to São Paulo I. The line here is doing something really important. It's crossing the Tietê River, a major barrier in the city. Think of it like the Seine River in Paris, but way more polluted and really ugly. Previously, either you would take a bus to the train station in Lapa or a bus to line 1 blue. But this is not all. The line will also expand. Hopefully, the full line is going to be finished by the end of next year, if all goes according to plan, which in Brazil is harder than you might think. But the line will go all the way towards line blue at São Joaquim station near São Paulo's famous Liberdade district, which if you know anything about São Paulo, it's probably the only place you heard about. The curious thing is that the line will connect 3 major universities in the future, and they are all in subsequent stations in succession. First is PUC, then there will be the FAP, and then the Higienópolis Mackenzie with a connection to line 4 yellow. I imagine it's going to be chaos. But currently none of these stations are open and are still under construction. Also, there is the question if Station 14 bis, named after an early airplane prototype by Brazil's Santos Dumont, will ever open, because some archaeological excavations delayed that project quite indefinitely. And the discourse online has been its own thing. I'll leave this one for the comments. And of course, as anything in Brazil, the building of this line was not without controversies. There were many issues regarding constructions, the private-public partnership, and potentially corruption. But since we are in an election year, I'll not talk about that. Then we approach this weird ventilation hole that is still unfinished. You can see this became quite the attraction. Even the staff were taking photos and videos for the socials. This is the VSE Tietê, the ventilation and the emergency shaft. In February 2022, the site made the news when a massive crater collapsed into the highway right next to this shaft. Much of the line is still unfinished, More on that later. That's called foreshadowing, kids. As we approach João Paulo I,
Próxima estação, terminal João Paulo I. Desembarque do lado esquerdo do trem. Este trem retornará para Perdizes.
the driver has to do the super technological thingy of manually closing the hatch and move to the other side of the train. The line is doing something different. Instead of operating to its full capacity, they opted to basically operate the two tracks independently, so no need for switches or points for you Brits. The train reaches the end of the line, then goes backwards on the same track, so it's operating at a super reduced capacity with 20 minutes on average intervals. And on the way back, you get to go backwards, driving on the wrong side of the track per se, or the French side of the track, as the French would say. We stopped at Santa Maria station to take a look around because this station looked really cool. The platform screen doors are still not working and operators are doing what I would call a roller coaster style operation, where the staff need to verify all passengers are boarded, this light stick or light baton, so that the operator can depart. While the station is technically open, there are some rough spots. As an architect, I do have to say overall it has the strength and utility because this station is massive, perfect for crowd control, with escalators, stairs and a giant concourse. However, it lacks beauty. Maybe a piece of artwork would have been great, and all the exposed concrete and orange signs, by the way these look painful to read, maybe light orange contrasted with black would have been better. It all gives a prison aesthetic vibe to the place. But to be honest, São Paulo as a whole already feels like a prison. So as Lightning McQueen said, well, it matches the rest of the town. And now to the caveat. Why is this line opening now at this unfinished state? Well, we can see the sign here and it explains everything. Politics, hooray! The governor of the state is running for a re-election against the former mayor of São Paulo, and in Brazil, as a political candidate who is currently in office, you can't be part of a major event in office after a certain date. Before that, it's fine, you can do whatever you want, bribe the people, etc. But after that date, you are subject to scrutiny. So there was a certain cutoff date that the line had to be open to bolster the popularity on that sort of stuff politic people understand. The line is also a private-public partnership operated by Linha Uni to add to the confusion of São Paulo's many metro, subway, tube operators. Now, I might get some flack, but I don't hate that sort of competition. It's nice having different operators, different methods. Yeah, I know. You may click the dislike button now, but make sure you click it twice. Okay, so let's get back home. One interesting thing is that all the announcements are made by the driver currently, and I'm sure that will change, but it's very hard to understand what he's actually saying. So we're back to Sesc Pompeia station. This area is going and is already seeing a lot of development with high rises because the metro system brings so much growth. And that's the interesting stuff about São Paulo. Politically speaking, it's much easier to build a metro subway system here because all the developers love to see the stuff they can do when a subway line is built, you know, building a massive high-rise apartment complex. The people that hate this sort of things are the working class people that used to live in these historic neighborhoods that are now getting gentrified by these new condo towers. So it's quite an opposite situation to what happens in the United States, which is fun to see. And one last caveat is that the station doesn't connect at the moment with Sesc Pompeia, the name of the station. Yeah, that happens a lot in São Paulo. I think with this one there is a chance they might connect it with Sesc Pompeia, which is like a cultural center thingy, but Most of the stations don't connect with any existing buildings because there is this really frankly stupid law that requires the hours of the business the station would be connected to be the same as the subway, metro, etc. Which means frankly nobody wants to do that, and instead of having an easy connection with the station you have to walk around a very short sidewalk and potentially get robbed on the way. It's unfortunate this situation exists in São Paulo, whereas other Latin American systems like Santiago's metro system have direct connections with shopping malls, etc., like I experienced with Mercado Urbano or MUT in Santiago, which has an easy connection with the subway there. But anyways, I'll digress from that nitpick. So what did I think of the world's newest, for now, metro system, whatever line? Well, I kinda liked it. Yeah, you know, you guys are shocked. It's not the best in the city. Line 4 is still S tier in my opinion, but it does a lot and it's going to be a game changer for the region. I talked with a couple and they said how the line made their day much easier without needing to catch a bus, etc. So yeah, while not perfect, I think this line, even if delayed, is going to do wonders for the city. And I'm not good at concluding videos, so what did you guys think of this new subway line? Let me know in the comments below, and if you love trains, be sure to click this video on your screen right now, and I'll see you there, hopefully.